Let's talk about why going offensive line seems to be the favorite as we head here into the draft for the Chicago Bears with their first round pick. What is going on, y'all? Fox Sports Talk back at it with another video. Talking some NFL here to talk about the NFL draft, which is basically here, folks. It is this week. I cannot believe it. We have finally made it. The draft is here. It is draft week. So I want to talk about why I believe the O-line position, to me, is emerging as the favorite for the Bears at number 10. Now, I've talked extensively about the draft man and what we're going to do here with the 10 overall pick. Like, at this point, you guys might be tired of me talking about it, but hey, we got to talk about it. So let's talk about the fact that the left tackle spot in particular, right? The Bears taking a Will Campbell or a Armand Membo, I know he's a right tackle, but if he moves over to the left side, or a Kelvin Banks Jr. is the most likely outcome for the Bears at number 10. And it's coming from Daniel Jeremiah of the NFL Network, who said the following. In terms of positions that you probably don't want to wait on, if you are dead set on getting an offensive tackle and you want to get your long-term left tackle, you're going to want to do that with your first pick. I just don't love the possibilities of you seeing someone that's going to be an upgrade over what you have once you get into the second round of this particular draft. So that would be kind of the thought process there. If it's close with some of the other players, I could see them leaning in that direction and checking a tackle off the list. There are backs, there are tight ends. There's a good bit of depth there, end quote. All right, so this is very interesting because this is something I think we all were aware of, but I feel like we haven't focused on it enough. It's like, hey, I get it. You take BPA, best player available, when it gets to number 10, and you got to see how the board shakes out. But what about the fact that the depth at other positions is just so much more to where, hey, maybe even if we have the guy we like at 10, we could get someone, relatively close or someone who's comparable in the second or third round, right? So that's the thought process here. And look, I'm going to just bring it up, right? Ashton Jeanty is the guy a lot of Bears fans want, including myself, right? The running back out of Boise State. If he's there at 10, I do believe the Bears take him. But there is a thought process of, hey, right, what about the fact that Omari and Hampton we can have a little bit later? And if it's Jeanty and Will Campbell being there, maybe the pick is Will Campbell. If Will Campbell's not there, you're not passing about Jeanty for guys like, Membo or Kelvin Banks. But it is a conversation if both those guys are there. And even other positions, right? So many people have talked about the tight end position with Tyler Warren, but Holston Loveland's there as well, the second tight end. There's other tight ends in this draft. So running backs with Caleb Johnson, with all these other backs out there, Omarion Hampton, all these guys out there, there is depth at that position. There's depth at tight end. But at left tackle, these guys that I mentioned, they're all going to the first round, like them or not. I know a lot of people don't like Kelvin Banks Jr. He's going to the first round. Some people don't like Armand Membo. He's going to the first round. Will Campbell's going to the first round. So if you don't get those guys with your first pick, you're not going to get them, period. And so, to me, it does make sense why the Bears will probably lean towards that direction. My pick, my realistic pick, and a lot of people aren't happy with it, is that the Bears end up taking Kelvin Banks. And that's only because I feel like Jeanty will be gone and Will Campbell will be gone. If those guys are available, that's my pick. It goes Ashton Jeanty first, then Will Campbell, then trade down, then Kelvin Banks. But as far as like, hey, what do you realistically think is the player that they end up drafting? That's why I have Kelvin Banks. It's because he's a left tackle and there's not a lot of depth at that position. So keep that in mind here as we get to the draft, because the other positions that we want, right, they are positions with depth, right? The other skill level positions, they do have the depth there necessarily. So to me, that's another reason why I think they go offensive line. Again, we just mentioned running back and tight end, but defensively as well, right? Could they go defensive end? Sure, they could. I just don't see it. I think there's more depth at that spot as well. So to me, that is another reason for why I believe they go offensive line with their first overall pick. Let's see what happens. All right, but that's my guess. Let me know what you guys think. Leave a comment down below with your thoughts as always. Thanks for watching.